Awesome is its source. One mind unites all, being one law, rules all creation. As it is written, the God of all being is exalted by justice. A God is sanctified by righteousness. Blessed is creation, and blessed the love that sustains it.
Amen.
Amen.
All right. Page 64. The holiness of the day. I'd like to ask Yehuda.
The house,
On page 64, Cain, the house of Israel.
the house of Israel called to holiness, to a covenant with the eternal for all time. We are called to serve the Most High. May we rejoice in this heritage forever. May this day add meaning to our lives. Let the shofars sound, awaken the voice of conscience. Our common worship unite us in love. Our memories of bondage impel us to help the oppressed.
And continue on page, at the top, on page 65.
On this day of remembrance, we pray for awareness. Let love and compassion grow among us, and goodness be our daily care. This day may we find well-being. This day may we discover the eternal strength that abides among us. This day may we help to a life that is whole. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Let's have our next reader, Sar Eliyahu, read You Transcend.
You transcend our deepest thought and elude his nose, the keenest eye. You all who dwell on earth may find you. Every creature's form proclaims your glory. For all the heathen is our one creation. Brethren, breathe is our creation, one creation. Children of the single kingdom, thus was it written of old. The sovereign God of Israel is the one who dominates dominion and extends to all creation.
And continue at the bottom, the king. But you can omit the red, the words of red.
The rim of law is the meaning of freedom. Blessed is the law that gets us free to find gladness and joy. Praised be the power that makes for freedom, that blesses the house of Israel and the day of remembrance.
Amen.
Amen.
All right. For the silent prayer, let us take a moment to read this to ourselves. Amen.
Amen.
Scene of wonders, Rabbi Gershon.
O world, where miracles spring up to meet us along the way, we hold you close and give thanks for morning lights or evening calm. Sun and moon, sea and sky, snow and mist, city streets and country lanes. What joy to know you, how excellent to touch you. To live and nothing more will be enough to make us glad, yet morning, noon, and night a task awaits us. The lost and hungry to be found and fed, the sick and sad to be healed and cheered, a peaceful world to be built and kept. Blessed is the gift of life, blessed the source of life and its task.
Amen.
Amen.
And again, this will be responsible reading. So I'll read, and then the congregation will respond. Words there are in prayers,
Words there are in prayers,
but justice there is not.
but justice there is not.
nor yet peace.
nor yet peace.
The prophet said,
The prophet said,
in the end of days,
in the end of days,
the Lord shall judge between the nations.
the Lord shall judge between the nations.
They shall beat their swords into plowshares,
They shall beat their swords into plowshares,
and their spears into pruning hooks.
and their spears into pruning hooks.
Although we must wait for judgment,
Although we must wait for judgment,
we may not wait for peace to fall like rain upon us.
we may not wait for peace to fall like rain on us.
The teacher said,
The teacher said,
those who have made peace
those who have made peace
in their house,
in their house,
it is as though they have brought peace
it is though as if they had brought peace
to all Israel.
to all Israel,
Indeed,
indeed,
to all the world.
to all the world.
Peace will remain in distant vision
Peace will remain in this division
until we do the work of peace ourselves.
until we do the work of peace ourselves.
If peace is to be brought into the world,
If peace is to be brought into the world,
we must bring it first
we must bring it first
to our families and communities.
to our families and communities.
Page 68. The psalmist said,
The psalmist said,
seek peace and pursue
seek peace and pursue it.
it. Do not content
Be not content
to make peace
to make peace
only in our own household.
only in our own household.
Go forth
Go forth
and work for peace
and work for peace
wherever men and women are struggling in its cause.
wherever men and women are struggling in this cause.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, now let us go to page 69 in the East Side Vault. And again, let us repeat Avenue Montgomery. Our Father, our King,
Our Father, our King,
hear our voice.
hear our voice.
Our Father, our King,
Our Father, our King,
we have sinned against you.
we have sinned against you.
Our Father, our King,
Our Father, our King,
have compassion on us
have compassion on us
and on our children.
and on our children.
Our Father, our King,
Our Father, our King,
make an end to sickness,
make an end to sickness,
war, and famine.
war, and famine.
Our Father, our King,
Our Father, our King,
make an end to all oppression.
make an end to all oppression.
Our Father, our King,
Our Father, our King,
inscribe us for blessing
inscribe us for blessing
in the book of life.
in the book of life.
Our Father, our King,
Our Father, our King,
let the new year be a good year for us.
let the new year be a good year for us.
Our Father, our King,
Our Father, our King,
give strength to your people, Yisrael.
give strength to your people Israel.
Page 7. Our Father, our King,
Our Father, our King,
be gracious and answer us,
be gracious and answer us,
for we have little merit.
for we have little merit.
Treat us generously
Treat us generously
and with kindness,
and with kindness,
and be our help.
be our help.
Amen.
Amen.
And again, let us be mindful that on this Rosh Hashannah, the head of the year, we are the head. We are the Rosh.
Amen.
And as the Rosh, we will establish Rosh Hashannah within us and within the communities of the earth. And at this time, we will move into the next part of our service.
Shana Tova, Tov Mel.
We want to go to the book of Bamidbar, chapter number 29. Written. Verse 1. In the 7th month, on the first day of the month, there shall be a holy convocation for you. You shall do no laborious work. It shall be a day of shofar sounding for you. You shall make a burnt offering for a satisfying aroma to the God, 1 bull, 1 ram, 7 male lambs in their first year, unblemished, and their meal offering, fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 ephah for the bull, 2/10 ephah for the ram, 1/10 ephah for each lamb, and of the 7 lambs, 1 male of the goats for a sin offering to provide for you atonement. Aside from the burnt offerings, the new moon and its meal offering, the continual burnt offering and its meal offering, and their libations according to their law for a satisfying aroma, and a fire offering to God. Amen. Again, we want to be mindful on this Rosh Hashannah that there are certain requirements that we are definitely to fulfill on this day. Often when we talk about Torah, we talk about Torah as being 20% literal and 80% interpretation. This right here is literal. What we're supposed to do on this day, and again, we celebrate over a 2-day period. So it begins now, and then we move it all the way over until Tuesday evening. So that we actually have 2 high holy days that we observe. The second high holy day is observed in harmony with the idea that when these observances first began and we were first scattered, that it was impossible for us to know exactly what day Rosh Hashannah would occur on. So what we did was we said that we would observe the 2 days to make sure that we wouldn't miss it. So here in the land of the captivities, what we do is we celebrate it over a 2-day period in harmony with that tradition. So that's the first thing to understand about it. As Rabbi Yehoshua was sharing with you, what we're looking at is something very important, and that is actually becoming the head of the year, which means that what we're talking about is becoming the actual mind, the thought process that will occur for all of the sons of Adam during this next year. And so we want to talk about how to do this. Amen. How can we accomplish this idea of becoming the head? The one thing that we do understand, and that is that when we talk about Adam Rishon, which is the first thing, that Adam Rishon is one man, one soul, comprised of many souls. And so we're actually one being. And when we talk about the one being, we're going to be talking about particular purposes. And again, when you look at the physical body, what we're going to say about the physical body is that it has to have a head, it has to have a roof. When we put that on the board, and let's look at that quickly. I don't want to take a lot of time with this, but I want to look at it. We come up with this concept here. And again, we're going to use the idea of Mishkan David, which is a 3-chord system that tells us how to enter into the mind of the Creator. The first chord, what we're going to say right here is we're going to call this the mind of the God. Another thing that we want to talk about when we start to talk about the mind of the God is that there is another thing that we speak of, and that is the idea of, again, the beyondness of God. So beyond this, what we would have is what we would call the iron soul. Which is going to lie, again, outside of the mind. One of the things that we have been talking to you about, especially on yesterday, and that is the concept that we are destined to unfold unlimited potential. And understanding this will aid you in understanding what the path is to unlimited potential. Let me say something that's very important to you. When you talk about again, let me go on and put up here. This is Maksom. Maksom is the barrier between the spiritual world, which is the five senses, and the world to come. So that this would, again, represent Olam Haba, the world to come. And again, here below the barrier is what we experience now called this present world. What must be understood is very important, and that is that every one of us here, because we are, again, an individual aspect of Adam Rishon. When you talk about Adam Rishon, another thing that you're going to understand about that is that when Adam was created out of two components. Again, a finite component, which we call the dust. But now we want to spread this out in our thinking. Because now when we say dust, we want to look at the entire universe. If you look at the universe itself, it looks like, again, a bunch of sand sprinkled all over the place. Some of it in swirls, some of it in what we call galaxies, solar systems, all of that type of thing right there. But what you're looking at is, again, aspects of Adam Rishon. Aspects of that. But that's the sand aspect. When we talk about what is contained in, it's contained in this pure soul consciousness, which is the consciousness that we seek to ascend into. So I want you to kind of think of it like that so that you realize again that, as individual aspects of divine sparks of this, we're a divine spark of what's up here, but we're abiding down here. Now, I want to say something very important, and I want you to think about this. In order to enter into this state of unlimited potential, something has to occur. So let's talk about what has to occur, and we'll talk about becoming the head. I want you to remember what this present world is. This present world is a world of effects. In other words, everything that goes on down here is already predetermined. This is why whenever we talk about the present world, the one thing that we're going to say, and that is that you really can't change this, because what goes on here has already been predetermined. So this is a limited place. This is limited. It's effects. Very little things that we do down here really change anything. But what we have up here, Olam Haba, is what you would call the cause. The cause. When you talk about the cause, you're talking about something that's unlimited. What you have within you is unlimited because you have a divine spark of the Creator that's within you. The thing about it is that because this world, this present world, is ran by a system of laws that are already in place, that even with this idea of being unlimited within, you still have to function within limitation. And for instance, what I'm talking about is like this. Again, and we talked about it on yesterday. Nobody chooses where they want to be born, to whom they want to be born to. Matter of fact, we didn't choose to be here. We don't choose that. We came out the womb, we didn't choose to have the desire to eat. That was already given to us. If you look at it further, you're going to find out that, again, if you just go back to the Garden of Eden and you look at Adam and Eve, out there, the choices that they have, because they're in the world of effects, they are very limited. So what they have is, you can eat of this tree and live, or you can eat of this tree and die. In other words, the choices themselves were limited. We say it one more time. The choices were limited. Okay? And that's always been our thing. In order to experience the unlimited aspect of yourself, you have to ascend out of effects into cause. In other words, you have to ascend into a place where your choices are unlimited. Let me say it one more time. It's very important to understand that. See, down here, laws. Up here, intention. Let's put that up. Intention. Down here, laws. These laws are, again, things that we deal with in order to deal with the forms and things that we have that go on here. And these forms are a product of our thinking. Isn't that true?
Okay.
It's a part of our thinking. But the thing to understand about your thinking, and that is this. Your thinking is actually calculations. They are calculations that are given to us, again, in form. You know, if we opened our eyes and saw just calculations, it would be very hard for us to kind of deal with, again, making decisions and things of that nature right there. And so what we have is, we have, again, these forms that have been given to us, and these forms are calculations. And all of the calculations that come to us are based upon the one calculation concerning creation itself, and that is that we would become like the Creator. So every thought that we have, whether it's good, whether it's evil, doesn't make any difference. All of it works within that framework. That's very important to understand right there. It works within that. And so, and it's experienced as forms. Forms that are outside of us. I mean, so like this pole or the floor or each person that's here, you know, the things that are going on in our thought life. The thing about that, and that is that if we can understand these calculations and move in harmony with those calculations, then we can get there quicker, which is what the Jew does anyway. I mean, we get there quicker because we understand that, wait a minute, this is a form, but that form in reality is me. Because everything that's external to you, is just simply a reflection of yourself. I mean, and so I'm seeing myself external to me, and what I'm really doing is I'm transforming myself, that it looks like it's something different to me, into being me, and that causes me to become one. I mean, God is one. On that day, He will be one, and His name is one. Which means that all of this stuff is calculations out here. These calculations look like there's something else. I mean, they look like there's something else. They look like, again, that they are male, female, positive, negative, all different things of that nature right there. But they're simply calculations that you're supposed to bring in harmony with the idea that they are really just a reflection of yourself. When you do that, what happens is you begin to move from this realm to this realm. So I can move from this realm to this realm through faith, or faith above reasoning. But my faith above reasoning is going to deal with something very important, and that is to understand that these things are calculations on the outside of me, and what I have to do with these calculations is I have to view them as myself. It gets me up here, okay? It gets me up here. Now, once I get up here, there's still something I want to reach. It's called the mind. And again, to enter into that mind, it takes something very important. It takes Yisrael. Let's talk about Yisrael for just a moment. What Yisrael is Yisrael is a point that's in the heart that says I'm one with God. That's what Israel is. To have this point in the heart that says that I'm one with God, and to join that with other points that say the same thing, gives you the ability to form this right here. Okay? In other words, I can't form it with any old body. I have to have people, again, that understand that their soul is a divine spark. And then those people have to come together under certain conditions in order to form this mind here. Why do we need to know that? What do you think is running the head? It's the mind. Matter of fact, the mind's running the entire body. So that if we understand how to form the mind or the head, then what we become is the thought process of the rest of the body. So you got it up here like this. This is Rosh up here. That's the head. And down here we have the goof. That's the rest of the body. The problem is, and on the planet right now, this ain't operating. What's operating is down here. In other words, it's the body. In other words, it's, again, Adam Rishon making choices and doing all kinds of things without a head. This is why we talk about the idea of becoming the head of the year. Remember, Yisrael is referred to as the head. What has been the suffering that we have went through is that we became the tail. And so what we need to do is rise back up here. That's why we say that anytime you see stuff that's really going on, shouldn't be going on, it's because it's a body dealing without a head, so it's really the head's fault. It's really the head's fault. So what we have to understand now is how to form this, how to form the head. And so what we're talking about right now is, again, the necessity in ascending to this so that we can finally get to this, and then from here, move to this. And what we're talking about then is, again, the experience of the beyondness of God and this idea of manifesting unlimited potential. But it's not as hard as we think it is. It really isn't. It's just simply being in the right place. You already got the stuff on the inside of you that's necessary. But it's frustration down here. And you walking around, you got all of this ideas and things that go on the inside of you, and your choices are so limited, and things are already predetermined that everything down here is limited. I can move up here, I get to the peace, and make the mind, but I want to get beyond this mind. And to get beyond that mind, I have to be able to function in a field that is unlimited. In other words, there's a field that exists in which the choices that you have are unlimited. This is why we were given free choice. We would never be able to get here without that. So he said, I want, again, my creation to be like me. Well, that's talking about not just this here, but getting way up here. But the reason why that occurs is because in the field in which this exists, there's this, no limitation. Remember, when you get up in the morning, you think you got a whole bunch of choices, but you don't. You really don't. You go through the rest of your day, you really don't. You want to, but what we have to learn before we can really operate up here anyway is how to make choices. Because that's something we don't know. That's why choices are made for you. And then you just select between the two. And then even those two that you're selecting from will not cause you to fall out of, again, the goal of creation. It's very limited for that reason, but it doesn't stay there. The head gets there first. But if we don't understand the path, it's impossible to get there. See, you can start looking at this world from this perspective. The more you do this, the more you're going to see that your choices become more and more and more and more. We feel like we're so limited again. Can't go nowhere. You know, and when I say that, I'm talking about, yeah, you can go all over the planet, but you ain't going to Jupiter. You're not doing stuff like that. But if you realize something, and that is that Jupiter actually exists in you, then your choices become very different. And so it begins with understanding who you are first, and grabbing a hold of that, and then being able to go up the steps. So yeah, you start here, you deal with laws, but here you get up above laws. See, that's very difficult for us sometimes, but that's why we say it's 20% literal and 80% interpretation. Because you can get up above this. One more time, you can get up above it. You don't get outside of Torah, but you get up above what is called branch. You can get up above it. But up here is where you want to get. You want to get to the place again that when you're making choices during the day, the choices are so limited. You want to get out of that, because without that, you're still in limitation. Limitation. Now remember, you've been given a physical body. The physical body is very limited right now, isn't it? Now come on. You know what I'm saying? They're going to say, don't live so long, all that right there, you know. And so you have all of these things around you that are doing you like this. But you know what? You can transform those things. You have the power in you. But you have to know the path. So the head learns it first. When we talk about being the head of the year, we're really talking about that now. And that is being able to establish thoughts, not just among us, but here. And not so hard like we think so, because everything is connected. But establishing a perspective that's here, that benefits here. Because by Yisrael, all of the rest of the nations are able to bless themselves. We're able to function at a much higher level. Now believe me, if you're thinking about functioning some kind of way in this right here, what's wrong with it?
It's limited.
It's limited. There's something that's beyond this. And that's what we're speaking about. And how to get into it and begin to make, again, decisions in it. And because it's up here, think about what it does. If I make a decision of this up here, what happens? It's going to come down here. Why? This is eternal, and this is space and time. We've got to learn how to get up here. And that's what we're talking about. Amen? Now, we're not finished with this. Because the next thing that we're supposed to do, and it's literal, how many people brought their goats and their burnt offerings and all that right there so they could do it today? How many people brought it?
Everybody.
Everybody? Okay. Now, let me tell you how you bought it then. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 14. Because we got to do it. We got to do it. We got to do it. Now, this is a wonderful time. It is kind of difficult because, you know, the rest of our surroundings, they don't observe what we're talking about right now. And so it's kind of difficult. You know, but don't let it be like that to you. This is a very happy time for us. Because again, we're getting to the place now where we were told that we would have dominion and how to have this dominion. Chapter 14, so we gotta give our goats and our bulls and all that stuff today. Okay, let's go to verse 22. It says, "You shall tithe the entire crop of your planting, the produce of your field, year by year. You shall eat before God your God, in the place he will choose to rest his name there. Tithe your grain, your wine, your oil, the firstborn of your cattle, of your flocks, so that you will learn to fear God, me, your God, all the days. If the road will be too long for you so that you cannot carry it, because the place that God, your God, will choose to place his name there is far from you, where God, your God, will have blessed you, then you may exchange it for what? All right, so you should have a little money here. You should have a little money. A little money to give, because we're supposed to. You may exchange it for money, wrap up the money in your hand, go to the place that God, your God, will choose. You may spend the money for whatever your soul desires. So here it goes. We can have joy with this. It's unlimited for cattle, for flocks, for wine, for alcoholic beverage. And anything that your soul wishes, you shall eat it there before God, your God, and rejoice, you and your household, so you shall not forsake the Levite, who is in your cities, where he has no portion of inheritance with you. So we have to receive an offering. We have to. Now, again, maybe you don't have a whole cow offering. But you bring up the cow horn offering. So I'm going to ask that one of the rabbis would come and just receive the offering before we continue to move on to this, because we are going to go to the basics. We're going to have a great meal. We're going to have some eating that's going to go on in harmony with the traditions that we believe. Did you get it open? Is it down there ready? You got to go to it. Somebody who's we're supposed to have some wonderful things like fish heads, sheep heads, all of that kind of thing right there. Great time. To me, we feel like, for some reason when we put white on, I think we get overly serious or something. Look, y'all, we're not a religion.
Not me.
So we can have fun. But I think, you think that, man? You ever notice that? Yeah, we got the white on, man. We think like we.
I want you to have to raise your hand.
I don't know what it is. We just get all holied up or something. All right, you're going to have to wait. That has to be waited.
We'll make sure everybody else got it.
Yeah, they will.
Who else wants that?
We ain't done. We got some music coming. Got some wine coming. It's New Year's. And what year is this now?
57.
57. Y'all sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. He's going to go ahead on and wave the offering.
Min vela mahara. Min velo safon. Min vela mizra. Min velo darom.
Coming to the north, south, east, and west, and way to Teruma. At this time, remembering that the mitzvahs need to be done.
Amen. We're going to ask that Aaron will do the prayer for Teruma.
Let us start both. They have Rosh Terumot, Rushim Kabo, Kuto, Leolam Baye, Hallelujah.
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 Amen.
Amen.
All right. This is the great part. Getting ready to do now the sounding of shofar. And let me see. How many blasts are they supposed to do?
100.
100. Okay. Now, I need a volunteer to count them. We're going to go ahead as I call them out. The babies will count them. Okay, all right, we'll have the babies count them. That's gonna make it even better. Okay. Okay, if they lose count, just let them keep going.
And also to our virtual community, CI virtual community and the students. You guys, if you wanted to send a offering to the Ruma, you can do so via Cash App. And most of y'all know how to do that. So if you want to, you can do that. Again, it's fine with inventory. It's a part of the Rosh Hashannah service.
All right, and again, let me see if anybody remembers the descriptions of the blast. Okay, if it's a long blast, what is that called?
Long blast. I know one of them is. One of them start with a T.
Tequila.
Yeah.
Okay, if it's 3 short blasts, what is that called? Three short blasts. What is 3 short blasts?
Shabarim.
Shabarim. And now, let me see if you guess this one.
Teruah.
It's a long blast? Tequila. All right, and if it's 9 blasts, it is Teruah. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call out the blast, and then the babies are going to count it, or the B'nai, they will count it, and we got to go all the way to 100. Okay.
Okay.
And so, babies, give these guys a break. All right. Tequila. Shebarim. And Teruah. Okay, how many was that?
9. 20. 30.
Well, how many total?
23.
Counting all them.
Ah, okay, all right, okay. All right, we got all right, we got 13 in right now. Okay. Tequila. Shabarim. And Teruah.
6.
And how many is that?
26.
26. Okay, all right. Tequila. Shabarim. Teruah. And how many was that?
39.
All right, Tequila. Shabarim. And Teruah. And how many was that?
60.
I think 69.
51. Okay. All right. Tequila. Shabarim.
74.
74?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, all right.
I'm sure it's 65.
I think it's like 64.
Yeah.
It's 64.
I think y'all jumped 10.
65.
How you give a 5 on there?
I'm just doing the math. 13, me and 13, like 5.
Oh, okay. Okay, 64.
64.
Okay, he said 65, so we're gonna give him up. We're gonna give him one more. Okay, Tarua, Takia.
Okay.
77. Mhm.
All right, okay.
Almost there.
Takia. Shavarine. And Tarua.
More to go, guys.
All right, this is wonderful. Well, think about it, y'all. On New Year's, the Gentiles, they had party things, you know, and all that right there. We got original stuff.
Yeah.
This original stuff right here. All right. So we got like, I'm gonna let y'all do more than 100. Takia! Shavarine! Tarua! To the kiddies now. Oh no, music. Yeah, music. Gotta have music. Yeah. Hey, we need
I just recorded the board. How do you
Good job. Long breaks in between.
Yeah, I was happy.
Shalom Echad. Hoshana Tova.
Shana Tova.
And the Levites do it every day. What is it that they do? Alishkan David is what we do. Alishkan David, the raised up boo. Because of prayer is what we do. Because of prayer, the raised up rule. The Kohen and the Levites, they do it every day. The Kohen and the Levites, do it every day. What is it that they do? They perfect the sacrifices is what we do. Perfect the sacrifices is what we do. And we spend it around the table, me and you. And we spend it around the table, me and you. And the Levites do it every day. The Kohen and the Levites do it every day. What is it that we do? We gather all the brethren and the sistren too. We gather all the brethren and the sistren too, all the sons of Adam, we bless you. All the sons of Adam, we are you. The Kohen and the Levites do it every day.
Raquel, we going on second. Gonna make
Poof.
We don't do no magic, but we rap.
Hey.
I'm instead just kidding, bring you back.
Hey.
Actors pulling rap inside a hat. That's how they wonder, but if they wonder why the world is still going under. It's called a plumber.
Hey.
They say that I'm loaded, I'm a rat.
Hey.
Shot open that I keep on attack. Because
Hey.
say I can't be Jewish cause I'm black, but that's black. Say you're salty cause I'm not like and I rap and I'm eating all of these beats. It's the season. Humble yourself and catch your teaching.
No. This time we walked out on our own. Maybe we weren't meant for paradise. Maybe we were meant to fight our way through, struggle, claw our way up, scratch for every inch of the way. Maybe we can't stroll to the music of the lute.
Paradise, 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 paradise. Roll it up, paradise. We want it all given to us, it is more than it is. We can see cause our hands still locked up, blocking our bitch. On and on, we go with requests. Give me the good, for the blessings. On and on, we go. On and on, on and on. Paradise. Know that we walk with the heart, we have made it the end, finish up everything. We receive it, we was slow. Put the oil on the head, down to the medical flow. Onto the garments, now we are army, no one can stop when it's time to grow. Paradise, paradise, both existing right now. Unified in the good distinction, when I'm on the spot, so let's fight now. Print where we put our teeth, only one the ecstasy is the Holy Spirit, is the flame, self-evident. Pleasure to, tools, for the transformation. Wisdom is the wealth that to build a nation. Many pieces separated, unify them all with the separation. And we connect right here, we can build the mind right here, we can build it all right here. Got the spark in our heart here. Yeah. We want it all given to us, it's more than it is. We can't see cause our head is still out and it's blocking our vision. On and on, we go with requests. Give me the good, work of the blessings. On and on it goes, on and on. Know that we one with the heart, we have made it the image of everything. We receive it, we was slow. Put the oil on the head, down to the beautiful flow. Onto the garments, now we are army, no one can stop when it's time to grow. We get it given to us because there is. Our hand is still out, we just open it up and we pour. Fill it with light, give them some more. Fill it up, give them some. That goes on and on, it goes on and on. Why you always crazy? It goes on and on. We get it out the light, on and on. Fill it with light, give them some more. Fill it up, give them some. That goes on and on, it goes on and on. They singing? Yeah. Yeah, wanna go? We can walk it back while they
Shabbat shalom. Shana tova,
Shana
mishpacha.
Tova.
Thank God for being here once again on a Sabbath Eve. Miss you all, miss being here, but I was still here. I was attending services and classes and all that good stuff.
We were eating your bread.
Oh, wonderful. I was eating it too. Just want to thank and praise God for just this moment, just to be here again, back in the temple and amongst family. We're going to do 2 songs for you. We're going to do Adonai Ahuvi and Yevarecha. Veyasem
71. The Kiddush. At this time, we would like to ask Rabbi Simone Sirach pass out the wine at this time. Now the Kiddush is it's a time when we drink wine during holy days to help aid us in building that connection to not just the ideas of Judaism with the Jewish people. Some of this is just tradition, but it's tradition means something. And a glad heart.
Reveal yourself to me as God. Let me hear your voice. When my mind is right, time is right. Don't wanna wait on my life. Reveal yourself to me as God. Let me hear your voice. Some people say that they know God. Don't do what he says. People say that you know it, God, wanna have it their own way. Right now I say, fuck you when you say Lord have mercy. If you wanna be with him, let him have it his way. Reveal yourself to me, God. Let me hear your voice. Let me hear your voice. When my mind is right, time is right. All the way all my life. Reveal to me, let me hear your voice. Let me hear your voice.
All right, top of page 71, Kiddush. Baruch Atah Kai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafim. And for the second blessing, we stand Baraka. Blessed is the eternal God, ruler of the universe, who has chosen us from among all the peoples, hallowing us with the mitzvot and your love. Eternal God, you have given us this day of remembrance, to hear the sound of the shofar, to unite in worship, and to recall the exodus from Egypt. For you have chosen us from among all the peoples, consecrating us to your service, and your word is truth eternal. Blessed is the sovereign God, ruler of the world, who hallows the house of Israel in the day of remembrance. Amen.
Amen.
Blessed is the eternal God, ruler of the universe, for giving us life, for sustaining us, and for enabling us to reach this season. Amen.
Amen.
L'Chaim.
L'Chaim.
I'd like to start over. I'd like to ask everyone to rise at this time. As Rabbi Yehoshua will say the elect.
Let us adore the everlasting God. We render praise unto you, who spread out the heavens and establishes the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are God. You are our God. There is none else. We therefore bow in awe and thanksgiving before the one who is sovereign over all, the Holy One and Blessed One. Amen.
Amen. And we'll have a reader for page 72. May the time not be distant. 71.
May the time not be distant, O God, when your name shall be worshipped in all the earth, when unbelief shall disappear and error will be no more. Fervently we pray that the day may come when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye, when all who dwell on the earth shall know that you alone are God. Oh, may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your kingdom be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. The God will reign forever and ever.
Amen.
Amen.
And also the top of page 73.
On that day, a God shall be one, and his name shall be one.
Amen.
Amen.
And we'll ask for a reader for the light of light is a infinite flame.
The light of life is a finite flame. Like a candle, life is kindled. It burns. It glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty, but soon it fades. Its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our lives are full. But as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory, slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life.
Amen.
Amen.
Page 73, Kaddish Yom Tov. Yikado v'yikada shemira.
Amen.
Ve'alma dibara kirote, ve'yamlek mirkute, ve'kayekan v'mekan v'kaye, v'kol bit Yisrael, v'agalo uzman karid v'yimru. Amen.
Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabba Mevarach Le'olam U'Lamei Amai.
Yehei Shemei Rabba Mevarach Le'olam U'Lamei Amai. Yibrak v'yishtabak v'yipar v'yiromam v'yitnaseh v'yirabar v'yiraleh v'yiralav Shemei v'yikuresha bariku.
Bariku.
Le'ela minko, v'rikata v'shivata v'jbekata v'nikmata de'amiran ve'alma v'yimru. Amen.
Amen.
Yehei Shemei Rabba min Shalmai v'kayim elenu ve'alko Yisrael v'yimru. Amen.
Amen.
Shalom Sas Akorah B'Bakasha. Say shalom be mama.
Say shalom be mama.
Huya say shalom be.
Huya say shalom aleinu.
Ve'akol Israel.
Ve'akol Israel. Amen.
Page 74. Let the glory of God be extolled. I'd like to ask for a reader to read that.
Let the glory of God be extolled. Let his great name be hallowed in the world whose creation he will. Let his kingdom soon prevail in our own day, our own lives, and the life of all Yisrael. And let us say Amen.
Amen.
Let his great name be blessed forever and ever. Let the name of the Holy One, blessed is he, be glorified, exalted, and honored, though he is beyond all praises, songs, and adorations that we can utter. Let us say Amen.
Amen.
For us and for all Yisrael, may the blessing of peace and the promise of life come true. Let us say Amen.
Amen.
May the one who causes peace to reign in the high heavens, let peace descend on us, on all Yisrael and all the world. Let us say Amen.
Amen.
May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all that are bereaved. Amen.
Amen.
And Adam Lam.
Sing real loud.
I got a little excited. Can't sing down long, so. But I heard y'all singing it. Sound real nice. Yeah.
Y'all can get out there in front if you want to.
And y'all can join in too. I know my babies know it.
I tried to get them to join the other day. It's kind of Billy now.
Don't Betifara, Behuaya, Behuode, Betifara, Behuaya, Behuode, Betifara.
Shalom.
And last but not least, Nehalelio.
Hallelujah.
Nehalelio.
Hallelujah.
Nehalelio.
Hallelujah.
Am Israel Ka.
Am Israel.
Am Israel Ka.
Am Israel.
Am Israel Ka.
Am Israel.
And Lashana Tova, and we'll meet in the basement for the next part of the service.
Hashana Tova.
Hey, say something to the.
Lashana Tova, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Glad you were able to make it, and hope to see you all one day. Eliyahu Agreed, Tisha, David, Shalom, Rivka, and Pinkus. Shabbat Shalom, Lashana Tova.
Hey, Lashana Tova. Right. Glad y'all enjoyed the service. We will. Hey, the virtual community wants to tell everybody Shabbat Shalom and
Shabbat shalom.
all right. All right, y'all. We about to go downstairs and eat. To be in harmony, you know, y'all should probably do the same thing. Have a nice meal. Get some wine, you know, and have a good time. Glad y'all enjoyed the service. And
we hope to have y'all on more often.
She wants to say hi. Okay, and now don't forget to read in the Siddur tomorrow, or the Machzor tomorrow. The services for tomorrow.
And don't forget what we're doing, y'all. We're building ahead. We're building ahead of humanity. You know, we talked about it in the lesson. It's very important to keep it in our mind. And we're building the head for the Jewish people and also for humanity. Our quest to make everything.
Hey, what are you doing about books?
Okay. Now, do any of you guys have any questions? QAC. Oh.
Hey, Shana Tova, everyone. Shana Tova.
Probably next Sunday. Yeah, I think Marcus and yours.
Hey, word from the Rep B.
Yeah. This year, we are the head of the year. Remember that. This year, we are the head of the year.
Yeah. Okay.
Rosh Hashannah.
That's the rabbi. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and close out and talk to y'all soon. Again, Lashana Tova. Have a wonderful New Year. And we'll see some of y'all this week on the classes. All right.
Last year. Last year.